Welcome to Puny Pod's Monthly Bugle for March 2025. My name is Ryan, and my co-host, as always, is David. David, how are we doing this fine evening?
I'm doing pretty well. I've had a couple fun days watching some Marvel stuff.
Heck yeah.
Getting ready. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. The vacation's over. I will say that.
I know. Bum, 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 wong.
But yeah, definitely getting back in the swing of things. Listeners, I think you're actually going to hear this one the day after we record on an odd Thursday release. I'm sorry. We recorded the Saga review last week. We're probably going to release the Saga review next week. I just got behind on editing stuff, so
Apologize for nothing. This is free. Apologize for nothing. But you had a good trip, right?
Oh yeah, it was a great trip. Got to eat our way through Seattle and Vancouver.
So good food.
Oh my goodness, it
so
was
good.
so good. And then we ended eating in San Diego, so that was also great. And we ate the whole time we were on. We just ate.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like if they I swear if they come out with like a Ratatouille cruise and I'm just eating French food for like 3-4 days, sign me up tomorrow. Right, take my money. So
one of the restaurants on the cruise is on some of the ships is a fine dining French menu. So I had like escargot. And some duck breast at that one. It was
my God.
Yeah.
Just check your cholesterol when you get done.
Dude. I definitely had a gout attack. I got home. My gout was flaring. Yep, it was pissed.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll get to part of your trip when we talk about a movie in a sec. But
yeah, let's jump right in. This is the Monthly Bugle. This is our news show. We are all about Marvel news. If you are new here or somehow we just showed up on your feed, we talk about Marvel news here in our Monthly Bugle. Over on our main feed, we review movies, sometimes Marvel related, sometimes they're movies, sometimes they're TV shows. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, so jumping into our content, our first normal a content piece that we talked about moving to the front was our trailer park, but the trailer park's closed. It's empty. There's no trailers to be had right now, so no trailers.
There's nothing. There's literally I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go find the latest Fantastic Four mini trailer, and there's nothing. You could find some fan trailers, but there's no trailer stuff. So
yeah. Moving on into some current content. So before we start this current content, I do want to say we will put a spoiler warning here in a second, but this will be about Daredevil Born Again. We will talk about episodes 1 through 4, which all have been released at the time of recording. At the time of listening, that should be the same releases. We will talk about them in depth. We will talk about spoilers. We will talk about deaths and surprise appearances and everything in between. So please, if you don't want that spoiled, skip to the time that I will edit in here in a second. If you do want that spoiled, or you don't want that spoiled, but you want to listen to the rest of the episode, please jump ahead. We don't want to make this one of those things where you have to backload all of our episodes because you're backed up on Daredevil. Just jump ahead. And listen to the rest of the episode. We will keep the rest of the episode Daredevil spoiler free, as well as we're trying to keep a little bit of a spoiler lid on Captain America Brave New World, but there's really not much to be had for spoilers there. So
I make no promises. It's been out a month.
Yep. So yeah, this is your spoiler warning. Ryan, go ahead and edit in your timing here. What's up, everybody? Hey, it is Editing Bay Ryan here. I'm just chiming in real quick to make sure you can skip all the Daredevil Born Again spoilers that you want to skip. If you skip ahead to 25 minutes and 28 seconds. Again, that's 25 minutes, 28 seconds. You'll skip all the Daredevil Born Again spoilers. We do mention Daredevil Born Again a little bit later in the episode, but it's not spoilery. Don't worry about it. We'll see you there. Cool. That's enough of a break for me
Pew
to
pew.
edit in. All right, David. So yeah, Daredevil Born Again, dude. Just a quick recap for everybody. Episodes 1 through 4 have been released as of currently. So episodes 1 and 2 came out March 4th. Episode 3 came out March 11th. Episode 4 came out March 18th. 5 and 6 had previously been announced. They're both going to release on the 25th, so next week. And then there have been some more episodes 7 through 9 weekly following that, with the season finale on April 15th, tax day. So yeah, David, episodes 1 through 4. What are you thinking, man?
Oh man. Okay, so let me rewind, like step back for a second. So we both watched original Netflix Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't know if I've watched season 3 of the original Daredevil. I can't remember, and it's been so long that it's like one of those ones where I'm like, I remember the feeling of watching it, but I don't necessarily remember the exact stuff.
Which is fine. It's fine. But I remember this is part of the early Marvel licensing days where they licensed out TV projects. And I remember watching Netflix, Daredevil on Netflix, and it was dark and it was brutal and it was visceral and it was profane. I was like, it was great. I love this. And they have done a fairly good job of recreating it here.
Yeah.
I don't think we're not going to do. We're not going to do episode recaps. Maybe the next one will kind of be near the end. Let me ask you this. So, having watched the first 4 episodes, how did you feel, A, going in, and then B, after watching?
Yeah, so because I was on my vacation, I actually didn't get to watch it until like this weekend. This last weekend I watched through episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then last night watched episode 4. I was pretty excited. I was really, really excited that we were gonna get back to Daredevil, get back to street level. I was so excited for that. And I actually, on my vacation, I started rewatching some of the Netflix one, and I forgot kind of how tied into the MCU that was. There's a lot of discussion about the Battle of New York in that the first season of the Netflix Daredevil. And so I was curious how much this would tie in and that sort of thing. I think where I'm at right now through episode 4, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I'm sad that Foggy was killed in the first episode. I was like, oh man, Eldon Hansen came back and we saw all of his promo and Bullseye got him.
A Bullseye, yep, totally.
Yep.
I was, for myself, so when we first talked about it, it was originally announced as a 18 episode single season, and then it went through tons of rewrites, and that's sometimes that's not a great feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the Netflix stuff, and the early trailers made it seem like they were going to stay true to form to that, and I really enjoyed them. I think from what I've read and I understand, the first episode, so it was supposed to be pitched as a trial, like a crime, like a crime drama, courtroom drama kind of thing.
Yeah.
One or two of the writers, I think, were actually attorneys, trial attorneys. I read that the first episode was kind of like redone and kind of like tacked on. Because episode 1 felt a little disjointed. I enjoyed it, but it felt a little disjointed. Like,
it stylistically is very different.
Yes, I would agree.
A lot of the like CG work, and and the stylistic feel to it was very different
Yeah.
from the rest of the
So
series.
we are Daredevil-less in episode 2 and 3. We get the White Tiger. The White Tiger, Matt Murdock is defending him in court. White Tiger just goes out and it's the saddest of states, which is like,
Yeah, just getting capped by a
so,
Punisher fanboy. It seems like.
oh my god, that was kind of the only bummer. The only bummer was like, I really enjoyed the actor. I should look up his name. We should look up his name. They've been filming it for so long that he passed away due to cancer, and they dedicate.
Oh, that was the dedication.
Yeah, that was dedication. I think episode 2. I think,
Yes.
and that tells you how long this one has been in the hopper. So, episode. So we see the courtroom stuff. Episode 3. White Tiger, Matt Murdock's a really good attorney. Gets him off. Episode 4, we see what we think is Muse.
Yes. Yeah, it should be Muse. And for those who haven't read the comics, Muse is a villain. In the comics, he's actually inhuman, but I don't think they're going to do that here. He is. He's an artist who is also a serial killer. So he serial kills and then creates art out of the bodies of the people he's killed. And so we see kind of he's in the background. And throughout the first 4 episodes, and it really comes to a head in the 4th episode, but there's also kind of this element of like, and this is I am so excited to see where this goes, but of like the dirty NYPD cops that love the Punisher. They all have Punisher tattoos and the gun that shot. The White Tiger the casing has a Punisher logo on it,
Right.
and the guy was wearing a Punisher shirt. So I am so excited because they aren't using kid gloves for some of the social pieces of this world, right?
Yeah.
There is a lot of like hard hitting kind of social commentary pieces, and Daredevil does not like cops. Or not Daredevil, sorry. Punisher does not like cops.
Yeah.
And to have a fraternity of cop bros that are fanboying him, that's gonna get dirty real quick.
Yeah. We should have prefaced like it's the series. I can't say it sort of picks up after the last one finished up.
Yeah.
Sort of 7 years ago.
Yeah. And I should say that like I say, I don't remember the plot of the Netflix series. My wife never watched it. And so for anybody who's out there trying to convince people that like you can watch it without, it's definitely watchable. You do miss some stuff. There is some like, wait, who was that? Wait, what? But it's not too bad, right? It's definitely, you can pick up on the beats. You can watch the story. It's definitely watchable and
you could,
digestible.
yes,
So.
to be clear, you could start from here. The things I think you would miss. So the main gist is you have Daredevil, you have the Matt character, you've got the Bullseye character, and they are both trying a different role. They're trying to like cleanse themselves from the past.
Oh, not Bullseye. You mean
sorry, Kingpin. Sorry. And we don't see, there's reference to Hawkeye, or no, sorry, reference to
Echo,
yeah. Where Kingpin gets shot. There's some stuff from the original Netflix series, which not surprisingly, was like the Daredevil content from there. I'm not sure if it's still on there, but like people are rewatching the earlier stuff.
It's on Disney Plus now, by the way. If you have not watched those Netflix shows, they are on Disney Plus now.
Okay, that's right. I'm not sure I will rewatch it, but you can pick it up where we are without having seen anything. I'm enjoying it. I think it's really well done. Let me ask you this. Think of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. Is this top 3?
So far, I would say probably, yeah. I would probably put this top 3. Um,
It's like WandaVision, Loki,
yeah,
and
WandaVision,
this.
Loki. I mean, Captain Winter Soldier. Honestly, the shows have been great. Yeah, I would say just off rip, I would say it's probably top 3.
I think so
Um,
too.
but
It's really well. It looks really good. It's
also,
gritty.
dude,
Okay.
the conversation between Punisher and Daredevil in the
Yeah,
sewers
yeah.
in episode 4. Oh my god. I was watching that at like midnight last night. And I'm just like sitting up I had been like laying back watching whatever. And then that conversation is going on and I'm just set straight up. It's so intense and so good.
Yeah.
John Barenthal
I was
just
going to say
absolutely killing
he
it.
is crushing it. I can't. Yeah. So I think I was thinking of all the Marvel content they've put out in like the last 2 or 3 years. I think this is the best thing they've done.
Yeah.
I mean, I know X-Men 97 was very positive. Uh, Loki season 2.
Mhm.
I would, I guess, I again, we'll see where they land the plane. They get completely screwed up, but like, I think it's great. It's very enjoyable. It is not, this is not one you're watching with Teddy.
Nope, nope. This is definitely an after bedtime. That's part of why it's so delayed because yeah, it's definitely some after bedtime type of activities.
but I think they do a good job of like kind of picking up where they left off. They did get rid of a couple characters early on. Let me ask you this: how do you, when you're watching the Wilson Fisk piece, the Kingpin piece,
Hmm.
and he is now the mayor of New York? Does it feel too on the nose? Is it like some of the political stuff that's going on?
Yeah, yeah, and I said that to Lisa. It's very clear that they're making a Trump analogy there, right? Like I think that's between putting the slogan on hats and kind of his young staffer who is very much like oh, this is awesome, this is hilarious, you know we're owning the other guys. I think it's very clear that they're making an analogy to current, um like I say, the current presidency, um for better or for worse, right? I think that is the direct analogy that they're making. Um, I think there are times where I'm kind of like, you guys could have got a little bit more creative. You didn't have to pull exactly what was happening. Um, what about you? What do you think?
The part that's interesting to me is I think they envisioned not a President Trump kind of thing, like, but just
Oh,
your typical stereotypical, like, you know, no slander intended, corrupt New York mayor, right?
that's fair.
Because they started this in like 2022, right? No one envisioned the political climate where we're at. You can
Yeah.
envision a local crime lord politician who's now mayor, blah, 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 blah. It is, but I will say it, to your point, in the lens you watch it, in March 2025, it carries a certain charge. But
Yeah, and I think, not necessarily, obviously Kingpin is Kingpin, and I will say, like, the whole point of the story so far is that both Kingpin and Daredevil have been trying to put their alter egos behind them,
mhm.
right? Like, at least until the end of episode 4, you kind of thought Kingpin or Wilson Fisk was done being Kingpin, right? He was trying to go legit. Yeah, he was being a little bit harsh, or yeah, he had some methods that weren't great, right? The kids at the Philly cheesesteak place and all that stuff. Um but overall trying to go, somewhat legit. And so when I say like very similar to Trump, I think just the MAGA movement in general, where it's like a catchy slogan, and putting it on a hat and kind of the like own the own the other side kind of idea of just like almost like that political movement that really overvalues quote unquote honesty, um and openness, right? And I think that's the pieces that I think, and it borrows probably from the first two Trump campaigns, right? The MAGA movement, where you kind of just have this really, again, that catchy slogan that you just plaster everywhere. Not necessarily the corruption or anything like that. I don't want to make a comment on that, but yeah, more so the methods of the
Yeah.
campaign, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think again, I don't think they're trying to to put a bow on it. Like I don't think they're trying to make a to characterize it in that sense. I think they just
Right.
envisioned both of the characters trying to overcome their pasts. I love the diner scene where
Yes.
it's so good. I'm what the thing that struck me is you got a little Daredevil episode 1, none episode 2, none episode 3, none episode 4, and it's still like it's very captivating. It's very
Yeah.
uh it's great to watch.
Yeah.
I tend to like I will like a good courtroom drama, and you can tell that the people wrote it were actually like courtroom attorneys because it's very real. I will sometimes watch some court stuff like this is complete garbage. Like this is some Judge Judy kind of stuff. Like it's not real. Anyway,
Yeah. There was a there one of the it's funny, one of the courtroom lawyers who writes for this is actually, his last name's Feige. So when I saw it
yes,
pop up, I was
I
like,
saw that
is
too.
that some real, like, is Feige now nepotisming his people into his like roles within Marvel? But he's not.
I
It's
saw that too. I looked it up. I was like, did Feige's brother go to law school? And you just know, like, if I were him on my like IMDb page, it would just be not related to Kevin. That
right.
would be
Yeah.
that would be my first credit on my Wikipedia page. Reception has been really good. Some of the past Disney Plus shows have kind of lagged a little bit. We could talk about the movies if you want, but the 2 episode premiere kicked off 7.5 million views after 5 days. It's not as strong as Agatha the 9.3, but it is a very strong showing. And to your point earlier, Ryan, people are going back and watching the earlier Daredevil stuff. So, when you think about the Disney Plus play, this is the intended consequence of like, you had this content, you brought it back on board. Let's go back and get people invested in it. You
Mhm.
can, and uh, you know, I think it's a very positive sign. The other thing I would note is between Agatha All Along and Daredevil. Daredevil's rated R, and if you don't change the settings on your Disney Plus, you can't watch it.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're at that viewership is it's a very positive sign.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, it does send that is the interesting thing, that there is still some juice in the superhero genre, in that like there are things that we can still explore in Marvel, right? And one of those things is the more adult side of Marvel, whether it's through Deadpool and Wolverine or through shows like Echo or Daredevil, or I'm sure the upcoming, I don't know if it's been announced or if it's just heavily rumored, but there's supposed to be a Punisher like special presentation like they did for the holiday special and all that, that should be coming out, exploring the more, and not graphic for graphics sake, but just gritty, more adult side of comic books, can is still some fruit that's left on the tree, which is a rare thing in the superhero genre.
So are you saying it's not going to be a Punisher and his friends cartoon kind of film? No,
Oh
okay,
boy.
maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about Ryan went on a cruise, went on a vacation, well deserved, my man.
Yeah. Oh
One
wait, before we get to this, I want to give myself space to put Miss Minutes in to greet all of our friends back who skipped the spoilers.
okay.
Thanks for visiting the TVA.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
So as part of your cruise, one of the things I remember you messaging me before was I'm going to go rewatch Captain America: Brave New World. Having seen it before, going to the watching on a cruise ship, I have so many questions. So
Yeah.
is it showing like once a day? Is it just like you could walk in and it's just being screened like 16 times a day? Like, what's the situation?
Yeah, so interesting thing, so on Disney cruises, one of the things they're known for is their entertainment. And on a typical sailing, you have 3 stage productions. Typically that's so on our cruise, the stage productions, one of them was called the Golden Mickeys, which was kind of it was like a playoff of like an award show with musical numbers in it.
Okay.
And it pulled from a bunch of Disney movies, whatever. One of them was Frozen, and then one of them is called it's their award-winning one. It's like Dreams Magic Come True or something like that. Anyway, and that one's also a montage show, kind of runs through a bunch of Disney stuff. Anyway, that's not the important part. The important part here of what I was trying to say, or where I was headed with this, is we had a 5-night cruise, and so obviously there's only 3 nights of entertainment. What else are they doing with their big theater? The first night that we were on the cruise, they showed Captain America: Brave New World in the big theater, right? 1,000-person theater.
Oh wow.
I did not sit in on that. We were doing something else that night. I forget what specifically we were doing that night, but it just didn't work out. I didn't sit in on that. Now, I think that would not have been a great viewing experience because I would have been in there probably with a lot of kids because I was on the early dinner time due to the people we were traveling with who had their kiddo who turned 4 during the cruise with them. So it probably would have been a lot of little kids, and I would have probably got really annoyed. But after that first day, Captain America, I had at least one showing, if not 2 or 3, in the smaller theater. So I think it's like a 250 person theater, if I remember right.
Still big.
Yeah, it's still a big theater, but and so it had varying show times. The last show of the night usually started around sometime after 11 o'clock. And I did try and watch Moana 2 on the last showing in the night one night, and that was awful. The crowd was like behind us was like teenagers who were trying to plan their next day, like out loud talking to each other, and behind us on the other side was a family of like 5 children and one adult that was watching them, and I was just like, it was miserable. Lisa and I got up and left. It was not because of the movie, but we got up and left. But the time I watched Captain America was middle of the day, one of the showings. So yeah, the setup is basically it's a movieplex,
Yep.
theater, good movieplex theater. And it shows, I would say, between one and I think there was like one day where it showed 3 times, but
Okay.
yeah.
How many people are? So you got approximately what time?
I think it was
2, 1, noon.
yeah, noonish. I want to say. I think it was in the afternoon when I watched it.
How many people are in the theater?
It was full. So
Really?
Captain America was full. Moana 2 at 11 o'clock at night was not, but Captain America at noonish was full. Now, I do want to say, this was a less expensive cruise, which is part of why we chose it, because it was cold. We started in Vancouver on March 5th, and we sailed down to San Diego on got into San Diego March 10th, and we were basically trying to outrun a low pressure system the whole time. And so it was like in the 40s to 50s on deck most days. So you didn't have a whole lot of people up sunbathing.
Got it. So you've got Captain America on the large screen for the quote unquote premiere.
Yeah.
You've got it on a smaller screen. Let's call it, I don't know, 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
For 3 days. It was stuffed with, you said it was pretty full on the day you went, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for purposes of the wager, I will attribute, I don't know, I'm going to guess like a couple million right there towards the total box office revenue.
The whole cruise cost goes towards it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So on rewatch, so you're not spoiled at all. You know, Red Hulk is in it. You know, like all the stuff that's going to be in it. You're not trying to watch for things. You're not trying to like, trying to catch every Easter egg. What was it like on rewatch?
Way, way, way better. I think there's still some awfulness, right? There's still like Liv Tyler's still in it. So
she's in it for like a minute. Like
no, and I think
she's not great, but
yeah, I do think Harrison Ford's acting job was a little bit better when you're not trying to pick it apart. I think overall the movie is a lot more enjoyable if you just sit down to watch it and let it go, right? You're not trying to see, hey, what are all these Easter eggs? Who's a Skrull? Who's not a Skrull? You're not trying to watch to try and talk about it on a podcast a week later. Instead you're just watching for the sake of it. You picked up popcorn in a Disney Parks popcorn bucket outside the theater, and you just sit down and you're just watching it. Way, way better. So I would encourage anybody who was maybe a little discouraged by the movie, go see it again. Or for the sake of David, go see it again in theaters. But if you didn't love it initially, when it comes out on Disney Plus, give it another shot.
Yeah, we have a very elaborate wager on certain movies and shows, and I would even say, hey, just buy a ticket, don't go. It's fine. Just buy the ticket. Buy a bunch of tickets. It's fine. Girl Scouts are pushing cookies. I'm pushing this movie. Go get your Thin Mint movie of a MCU movie, which is Brave New World. Okay, so it sounds like you enjoyed it, though. It sounds like you like.
I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I think it's one that I'm kind of looking forward to in 5 years or whatever when we get around to it. For in our rewatches, it'll be fun to watch, I think.
Okay, yeah, I finished the Falcon the Winter Soldier series and right before, because I wanted to be kind of ready to go for it, because that's really the only vision we have of the new Cap. And so for folks who haven't watched the movie, watch Falcon the Winter Soldier, watch Captain America Brave New World. Shout out to Malcolm Spellman, St. Mary's High School classmate of mine who wrote both of things. And yeah, it was good. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you had a good cruise. Welcome back.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Not a whole lot going on in Marvel corporate news that I've said. There was a little bit of rumors about Kevin Feige taking over Star Wars now that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down, but I don't know.
Good riddance. Keep going. Let's keep pushing.
Let's move on to some future MCU projects. So, there was one kind of big one. I'm going to call it big casting news. There's not a lot right now, but so Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, she plays the character Max. You also I just realized how much of the lore of this podcast this is about to be. She's also the main character of the 10-minute version of the short film 10-minute version music video for Taylor Swift's All Too Well.
Okay. You're just a plant now, man. Like, stop. You need to just stop right now.
I
But
was
let's
like
keep
gonna
going.
roll into that, and then I realized how much I've said about that in the
It's
last
fine. We'll allow it.
6
Just
episodes.
get
But
through
yeah,
this fandom, my
anyway,
man. I'm kidding.
Sadie Sink, fairly popular younger actor. She's notably very redheaded. And so being cast in Spider-Man brings up some questions of like, who is she going to be, right? She's a big enough name to where she's not going to be relegated to a background character, right? She's going to be somebody, whether that's a love interest or a introduction of a new character. She has the weight to that name, that she's gonna be somebody. Although I maybe would have said the same thing about Giancarlo Esposito, and here we are. But
Wow, shots fired.
but yeah, so David, my question for you is, we know we have a young redheaded actress coming in to an MCU movie, namely Spider-Man. Who do you think? What's your thought?
Mary Jane Watson.
That's my thought too. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be alternate universe MJ, or they're going to actually do a Mary Jane Watson instead of Zendaya's MJ.
Yeah. That makes the most sense. I saw your note here, like thinking it's gonna be Jean Grey. It's not gonna be Jean Grey. It's not.
The tinfoil Redditors are out there, oh, they're going to introduce the mutants. It's going to be Jean Grey around.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
No,
Malachi. It's gonna be Raven Darkholm. It's gonna be Hope Summers. Like, no, it's not gonna be any of those people. Right? They're not. That's not. They're not bringing it. I'm telling you right now, they are not bringing in Jean Grey via Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's not going to happen. I guarantee you. Like,
It'd
it's
be
not
one
gonna
thing
happen.
if it was like Jean Grey showing up in maybe Fantastic Four.
Sure, yeah, and like a end season credit or like a back. I mean, we don't know what the timing, if it all works out. That makes perfect sense. But they're going to hand that over. There's no way. There's no way. So,
No way.
but I think Mary Jane's a great call.
Yeah, Mary Jane, or maybe they're gonna do what the Amazing Spider-Man movies did and take a traditionally red-haired actress and turn her blonde and go Gwen Stacy with it.
Okay, I thought you were going to say or change genders, and it's like a female Matt Murdock, right? Because he's supposed
There
to
you
be
go.
generally redheaded in the comic. Anyway, so yeah.
They have Matt Murdock everywhere, man. He was just in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. He's shown up in She-Hulk. Which I'm surprised she hasn't shown up yet. We've had a lot of court scenes without She-Hulk.
Okay, I thought about this
Sorry,
when I was watching.
that's a spoiler.
No, it's totally fine. Let's go back to it. Like really quickly. I like the tone. I like the tenor of the show. It is dark. It is gritty. There's some humor. There's good chemistry between like Matt and his new female partner, friend,
Love interest, yeah.
yeah. I think if they bring in CGI tall green woman, like it would
be jarring.
so jarring,
Yeah.
so jarring.
It would have to be non-hulked Tatiana Maslany.
A phone conversation, something like that, sure, right? But if she's in there like she hulking it up, if she's a new associate, like I'm out. Like, well, I'm not out. I'll watch the whole thing, but like I'm just not as into it. So
fair enough. Do you want to cover any of the other rumors that have come up lately?
So Avengers Secret Wars, spoiler, is going to be a Russo directed movie. It's going to have a bunch of people in it. It's going to reboot a bunch of characters. I kind of want to wait to see it. The tangent I want to go off on with you is like, I'm now very nervous for that. Like for a while I was like, oh, the Secret Wars, Marcus is back and the Russo brothers are back. And then I don't know if you saw the reviews for Electric State on Netflix.
Yeah. I was disappointed because I wanted that to be good.
I I saw initial reviews. Like, you would think it's a home run, and it just got completely panned. And a very small part of me was like, "Oh my god, the MCU's going to die! Like, they've lost it." It's like the athlete that you remember in their prime, and they're great, and then they switch teams, and it's 6 years later, like, "Oh my gosh, like this person's terrible," and they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be the case, but it was very jarring and alarming that they completely whiffed. Now, will I watch it? Yes. After I finish watching Craven, which I've started 3 or 4 times, I'm almost through it, and then I will start Electric State just because I hate myself. But no, the Secret Wars, we'll kind of get to more to it when we get a little closer to it. But it was an interesting article.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff.
It sounds like the gist is the Rousseau brothers referred to Endgame as a ending story, and they are now referring to Secret Wars as a beginning story, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
Right? We've been saying that for a while, that my call right now, my called shot is Doomsday is the collapsing of the multiverse, and Secret Wars is Battle World ending in a new universe being born, which is where you do a reboot. And I do think they will take a minute to think about, does the MCU go on, right? It is at an interesting spot where if they don't get some more bangers, maybe Disney makes the choice to cut it.
There's no way.
But
there's no way.
I think they'll make bangers.
No
There's
way.
going to be bangers, right?
There's no way.
Yeah.
I think it can help dictate direction. It can help dictate whether they want to profligate movie theaters with a bunch of Marvel movies, 3 per year. Remember, there was after Disney bought Star Wars, they were like, "Oh, here's our grand plan. We're going to have all this content," and they kind of reeled back from it because it was, I don't want to say grossly mismanaged, but it was not well done. And so I don't think well, the other pivotal thing that again, we could talk about it on a future episode is if Feige took over Star Wars, because he is a self-admitted Star Wars fan. And if they had to give it to anyone, I'd be like, he would be a great choice, right?
Yeah. And that's, I think if he's moving out, it might be hard to keep the MCU going, but yeah, I do think this will be our reboot. Some people are calling it a soft reboot, but I think this is after, like, this is a full, maybe Peter Parker sticks around, maybe the Young Avengers stick around, but
yeah,
I don't think Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is going to stick around. I don't think that I don't think that, like, Thor, I don't think Chris Hemsworth Thor is going to stick around. I don't think
you don't think Edward Norton's the leader is going to stick around?
Yeah. I don't think that the current version of Thunderbolt Ross, right, the current Red Hulk, is going to stick around.
Yeah.
I think that, maybe some of the young characters will stick around. Maybe the Ms. Marvels and the Spider-Man and some of that. But I think in general, this is going to be kind of a clean slate, and the story won't matter. And that's something that they're going to have to make really clear, is like the story restarts.
Right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think if it's not Filoni, then it's Feige. One of the two will probably get it. Let's be honest. But I do think it will be the inventory of, like, right, let's see what's in the cupboards. And you can bring in, you can bring in the X-Men stuff. There's a lot of different ways
Yes.
you can kind of go, right? So
Absolutely. We talked a bit about this in the saga review about like, hey, if they were starting the saga with all the rights to everybody, what would they do? And I kind of that might be what they do, right? They might restart the MCU in the way they would have done it had they owned all the rights, because now they do
yeah,
effectively own all the rights.
yeah, it's all Ghost Rider, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
There you go.
um,
That's the
no,
comics right now, man. Everybody is good. I just saw I'm not covering it, but Helverine #1, where Wolverine is Ghost Rider, is coming to Marvel Unlimited soon.
why not? Right? It's great. It's all good.
Cool. So that's Secret Wars stuff. Jonathan Majors wants a paycheck again. That's about all we'll say on that.
Keep it pushing. Keep moving on.
Moving over to some non-MCU news. First, I want to cover the Marvel Unlimited releases. I know I've been kind of trying to run through those like piece by piece, looking for all the number ones. There's not much in the way of number ones coming out, or have come out since last time we talked about this. A lot of the series have kind of started. I will say I started reading the new Iron Man series. It's really good. It's definitely like old school Iron Man. In fact, like he's cut off from his from his AI, which is kind of fun. So it's a little bit more like gritty Iron Man, which is pretty fun.
That's cool.
A lot of the Christmas releases are coming because we're 3 months past Christmas now. So a lot of the Christmas releases are coming to Marvel Unlimited, so the holiday issues of stuff. So if if you want a little bit of that holiday spirit still, go check that out. The other thing, and I feel like I'm obligated to mention this because it's me, is Spidey and His Amazing Friends got renewed for its fifth season. Season 3, for all the parents out there listening, season 3 is still releasing on Disney Plus. That is what is coming out right now. You did not miss season 4. Season 4 has not released on Disney Plus yet. But yeah, season 5 is official. So if you have a kiddo who likes Spidey and His Amazing Friends with Ghosty, Spin, and Spidey, you're gonna get some more of it. And White Tiger. That's true. White Tiger was in that's the connection. I can now show Ted Daredevil because White Tiger's in both Daredevil and Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
Oh my god. Spoiler alert for when Ghost Spider dies in season 5, but let's not go to there yet.
So yeah,
I made that up.
super fun show. I think, and I don't know, the Iron Man version of it should be coming out at some point this year, so excited for that. But
Yeah, I was excited. The as you mentioned, we are in the month of March. As far as like, I made the mistake of like Googling, like searching for MCU actors who have birthdays in March. There was way too many, so I'm not gonna do that. But from as far as like content, March is not a prime movie month. We've talked about it before. Talked about in February. There's a lot of bangers released in February, most notably Black Panther. MCU anniversary. So March 8th, 2019, Captain Marvel came out. I can't believe that was 6 years ago.
dude, that's wild.
It's 6 years ago. We had, but mostly you see more content, and we will see more content on the Disney Plus side. So 2021, March 19, exactly 4 years ago today, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we mentioned earlier. And then 1 year later, March 2020, March 2020, I believe that should be 2022, is Moon Knight, which came out on Disney Plus. So
I'm excited. I'm excited for when we get back to that with the rewatch. I loved Moon Knight, man. He and Shang-Chi are two that I need more of in the actual MCU.
we're going to get Shang-Chi pretty soon. Just got to get past this Tokyo
block
Drift nonsense.
That's true. That's true. Well, we are wrapping up here, folks. So real quick plug, make sure you check out our socials. Puny Pod, PUNYPOD, across all socials. Follow us wherever you get your fine social media. send us an email, punypod at earsup-podcast.com. Your prompt this month is send us who you're hoping to show up in Daredevil Born Again, a cameo you want. I don't know. I'm going to try and start doing prompts. That seems fun.
Okay.
Let's see. Other shows on the network. We are part of the Ears Up podcast network. Let's see. First, so our flagship show, Ears Up. I know that they have a pretty exciting episode coming out. David, did you give that, or did you want to talk about that one?
Sure. The Ears Up, which is the kind of the founding flagship show, reviewing the Disneyland Park news, etc. The hosts of the show, the Petroses, went down Disneyland Park for the first time in many a year.
5 years, yeah.
Which is, I don't know what happened 5 years ago. Maybe they just canceled planes between like Bay Area and Southern California. But they went back to the parks. And so if you want to listen to almost like I'm trying to envision like how much things would be different going to the park. Sure, yeah, like Peter Pan's going to be that's right, similar. Right. Like it's the same popcorn, it's the same turkey leg, but the experience, like where they stay, if you want to hear about them, like talking about their experience at the DVC, I think Eric did a really good job of, kind of walking them through and kind of talking about how they experience things for the first time in a very long time. So that's a good show to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. And they also talked a little bit about traveling with their 7-year-old and some of the challenges that also brought. So if you are a parent out there that, you've struggled with traveling to Disney or something like that, or you want a perspective on that, I think this was a really cool perspective. So definitely a good episode there. Supreme Resort is another show on our network. They compare land versus land, world, or park versus park, basically Disneyland versus Disney World. They are in their March mental illness because they can't say March Madness lest they be sued.
Big game bracket.
Yeah.
The Great 8. Elite 16.
They're doing their Salty 16, which is their pools bracket. So they just released their episode a couple weeks ago where they set their bracket, and then they will have Teg from DL Weekly / the Hub Crawl on, and he will help them decide who wins the bracket of the hotel pools. So.
I hope they issue the bracket in advance. We should both enter submissions, right?
Are we eligible anymore? Like,
I'm eligible. Like, I didn't win the last one. Like, I didn't bribe someone to win the last one like you did.
Both David and I, for the listeners, a little bit of lore for you. David and I think are the only two people to have ever actually won the bracket thing that they do on the Supreme Resort. So it used to be that they offered up a cameo. So like you go to the website Cameo and you get somebody. I believe, David, you got a hello from Steve Guttenberg in the gym. Is that right?
I did during COVID. It was pretty wild. If anybody sends an email response or says anything in Discord, I will send it to you. I swear to God. We can't help. And you got one from the guy from
from Pirates of the Caribbean, Stephen McNeely, I think is his name, and he's the like second in command in Pirates of the Caribbean.
They didn't have money for Johnny Depp, so like, okay, let's get this rando background character.
I don't even remember what was the subject of yours that you won. Do you remember?
You had the Starch one. I had I'd have to go back and look. I did pretty well in mine. I did pretty well in the second one too. I think a lot of people were. It is a contest that has very stringent requirements, and people are drug tested. I think a bunch of people failed the drug test, and that's why they did not get in. That's why me and Ryan won. But we should, if nothing else, we should get the bracket and let's enter ourselves. Even if there's no contest. Let's see if we can get it closest.
There we go. Yeah, we need to reach out to the.
We should do it in the. We should do it in the. We should do it in the Discord. Let's get a bracket,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, as David mentioned there a couple times, we do have a Discord for the network as well. I forgot to mention that with our socials. It's the Ears Up Discord. You don't have to join the Patreon or anything. You can just find it on the Ears Up website or in our show notes. I always have it down there, a link to it down there. Other shows on the network that I just want to rattle off real quick: Bantha Milk, Scraping the Vault, Buena Vista Boys. All three are kind of on mild hiatuses, but they all have content coming very, very soon. Hub Crawl, Bowie Splaining. We always like to mention them both. Check out the Patreon. That's the Ears Up Patreon. We release our super secret spoiler show on there, following every movie review or TV review. So yeah, you get spoilers and cussing and beer talk and beard talk and Nick Cage talk on there. So
Yes.
we also do release those 2 years later on our main feed, but if you want them, more timely, go check them out on Patreon. Other than that, the last thing to say here, David, I know you're so excited about this last thing. You're so excited.
I'm not, but let's get it over with.
Our next main show will be Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh my God.
I do want to say, for anybody this is their first time listening and you're like, what the hell is that? Do you have to do with Marvel? Vin Diesel is in it. No, I'm kidding. The reason why we're doing it is we have a yearly wager. Last year, David got a rough deal. David ended up trying to have originally it was going to be any two of the Sony Marvel movies. Then it became all of the Sony Marvel movies. Then it became all of the Sony Marvel movies plus the top grossing Sony movie, which ended up being Bad Boys. He had those up against the singular juggernaut, which is Daredevil and Wolverine.
Yeah, we did a movie revenue draft, and because I'm a gentleman, I let Ryan go first, and he picked the obvious, he picked the Shohei Ohtani of movies, and as such, he gets to pick the movie we're going to watch next, which is the third in the series.
Yes, third in the series. Okay. Anybody who has not watched Fast and Furious before, don't worry. Tokyo Drift has very little to do with the first two, so if you are watching along with us, you do not have to watch the first two to get to the third one,
or don't even watch this one. It's fine too.
just listen to us bullshit.
Just download, listen. Sure, why not? Rate and review. Thanks for listening.
All right. Well, I think that is enough said.